just as the markets are closing here, just about to close for the quarter, actually at the end of September, we are looking back again at trends happening. And what we are seeing here right now is the euro yen, a little bit of a weaker week this week, but still staying in that trend. And what's important is that the overall time frame, our monthly chart, is trending up, and it's closing pretty well after it had broken out. If we just take this over here, the breakout occurred here. You have your breakout fractal, and ever since that we're moving away from the balance zone. Pretty steady green candles and increasing momentum are on our side as we are long on the weekly, and of course you can always trade this on the daily as well, depending on your time frame, what you prefer. And over here you can see the marked breakouts, the initial breakout, the monthly one, and then two more possibilities to go into this long on the weekly. And we have rising momentum here as well. We're expecting new highs, a peak in momentum, and then the divergences, as you know, that will happen as this trend continues. And we're really looking at a couple of 100 pips here in the coming months, definitely holding this long, as we have no reason or sign to exit on this. Euro Swiss franc was another long position that we took. We are long from the breakout signals here. We're closing a little weaker, but we're staying stably above the balance zone, and there's not really anything that we worry about. Even if we have a week like that that takes out all of the gains from the previous week, we just trade the market and what the price is telling us. We are not confused by stuff like this. The price always comes back to this balance zone, as I mentioned so many times before, and it will bounce off it in a nice and working uptrend and continue higher. Momentum gaining speed here as well. Gold was a exit for us this week. We were long in here. Now this is just from the previous stuff. We went long here, got stopped out. We went short, got stopped out. Now we went long, and as the price is so weak, closing inside the balance zone, we are exiting this market. The stop was actually down here, but we're limiting losses as we don't see anything really on the horizon. Gold is just caught up in this side move. We're still thinking that a break of 1375 up here will do it and will send this higher, but who knows when this is going to happen. Many failed breakouts as the market moves sideways. A lot of small losses actually here. I definitely got to say that gold has not been thankful for us as a trend trader, not at all. We have been losing on this market again and again and again, taking many losses in a row too. But it doesn't really matter as long as we have risk management going, and that just ensures that we'll never lose too much, even if we have a couple of losses in a row. That's important to understand. Which other market will be interesting for us in the upcoming months? It will be the US dollar yen. US dollar yen has marked breakouts to the upside, to the downside. We are also in the middle of a side move here. We have been long here, stopped out, short here, stopped out. Now the market is long again, actually confirming the first scenario we had in mind, that we have this huge uptrend. This is the correction to the uptrend. It ends exactly where it's supposed to end, in the previous fractal area of the correction in that trend. Gives you the initial move, corrects it, no new low below these lows, and now we're waiting for a fractal to the upside to be formed, and we take it long. Now this is the theory, and we would or we always like to see the theory confirmed, because it kind of makes us being right, but we don't care about being right. That's why we take this short. If the market tells us to sell, we are going to sell. Again, risk management is the key in all of this. You can't know if the market is dropping down here like crazy, giving you the most insane downtrend with huge candles, long time duration as this trend unfolds. You can't know that. There is a possible reversal point right there, and the market might do the same thing to the upside. Nobody knows, and that's why risk management is so important. We use add-on rules to increase our exposure to profits as a trend is going, but we never enter with a big position at the initial trade. Also important, of course, S&Ps. People keep calling the top and it's, I don't know what to think about it anymore. It's just that every time you see bad news coming out or mixed sentiment or whatever, the market just keeps rising. At the worst, it gives you, like last week or like 4 weeks ago, these little or smaller candles, but current stop is right there in the middle of the balance zone. We have long entries from here. All of them are in profit. And now we just let it run. Momentum is gaining some speed here, but it's probably in the, well, in the, it's taken its last kind of breaths here. Uh, it's doubtful if this momentum high will be topped. Price could go on for a little while longer, but at some point the momentum is going to fold and it's going to go below the zero line, which has prices inside or below the balance zone. So a bigger drop will definitely come at some point, but we don't know how long and how many divergences there will be. And that's important to understand, that following the market in this regard, even if you have your divergence, even if you know at some point it's going to turn, you don't know how long it goes. And if you trade in the now, if you trade the action of what's happening now, then you are just long. You have been long and you're not calling tops, but you recognize the drop in momentum and the loss of speed in momentum. You're still following your rules, you're pulling up stops behind the trend, the balance zone is still the most important part here, and that's all that we do. And we wait, and we have been doing nothing but waiting here for a long time, but we are long, and it's very joyful to wait in this scenario. I have been talking about DAX as well. Pretty cool stuff going on here. We are long from down here as the market failed to go lower than these fractals. I explained this a couple of weeks ago, and the correction here has ended, and this divergent bar took the market long. We are almost hitting this 13,000 mark, which I had been talking about. We'll see what happens then. Very strong September here. We have a very bullish bar, which continues the trend that had been pausing here, had been paused here, is now continuing, and who knows where momentum is going to go. Who knows how much pressure there is behind this. We're holding this for now, and definitely not exiting at 13,000. Why would we? Just holding it and letting us be stopped out, even if that means that price is going to come back and these pretty good profits in a short time here are going to be erased. We don't really care, because we are here to be in stuff like the S&P long and the Euro Yen long, and this is the kind of stuff that we want to see, and we are not pulling stops up tight soon. We don't have profit targets, because that would mean that we're not trading trends. That would mean we try to pick tops and pick bottoms. For the last part here today, Nikkei 225, we have a bounce off of the balance zone yet again, just like in here. This trend likes the blue line. If you are a line drawing kind of person, you would be doing something like this, I guess. Or would you do it like that? See, this is why I don't draw lines. I have no idea how you do that. I like the moving averages more. Anyway, price is staying above that line, staying above the balance zone, and that indicates an uptrend. And what's also pretty important here, in my opinion, for the month of September in the Nikkei is that after it pulled out on the monthly of the balance zone and moved up here, there hadn't been a fractal. Now you have a fractal and an extremely strong monthly close above that fractal. If you zoom out, look at where this goes. This is 1990 back here. 30 years, almost 30 years of correction, and now we are exactly in that area, and I have talked about this before too, exactly in that area where you have all of this stuff going on, where the previous highs are of the correction. And if we are able to move through that, if we're able to break this fractal here and then stay above it and eventually take this one here, we are out on top of this massive resistance area, and that could send prices much higher, taking the Nikkei out of this massive base that it had been in, and maybe even lead it to new highs. Now that might be not happening over the next couple of years, but for a very long-term scenario, that might be the case. And if this market goes to 25,000 or even 30,000, that would help us out a lot, of course, in the trends. And as we have taken the breakouts here, we're just waiting and pulling the stop behind the market with the fractals as usual, and it has been working out extremely well in 2017. The markets have been trending, and it's just very, very fun to be in this. Of course, what we are doing here is all the stuff that people can't really do, or really takes a lot of practice and patience, because you're doing nothing. And I think that's the worst thing for a human being. Doing nothing is the worst part. You always want to act, and you want to know, and you want to be right. And this is exactly not what we are doing. We're doing the opposite. We accept that we can't be right, that we have no way of determining how to be right, and we never know which market will go where and when it will do that. And accepting that really puts you into a completely new place with your trading, as you know you have to manage your risk, and you know that there is no reason to get frustrated or reason to become euphoric or whatever. It's just following the market and taking and being open to take whatever the markets have to offer. And that's the key point, I think. Thanks a lot for watching, and I really can't wait to see how that year is going to end, as it's working out so well so far. Hope to see you again at the next video. Post your comments and like the video, please. See you soon.